This episode of Unqualified is brought to you by State Farm, who has surprisingly great rates for your auto insurance. In 1999, my mom recorded me in our family room, delivering the lines for what I thought was a horror movie. My mom read the other roles, and I thought she gave a much better performance than I did. There was even a moment when I seriously considered not sending the tape because that would require a trip to the post office and an entire day's salary for postage. Not that I had a paying job. I was surprised when I received a phone call asking if I could audition in person. Then I realized that the casting director must have mixed up my tape with someone else's. I could have pointed out the error, but I'd never been to LA and wanted to go. So my parents gave me airline miles, and I flew to Los Angeles, Burbank actually, where I auditioned every day for a week and slept on 3 different couches. At the week's end, my friend with the least comfortable couch offered to drive me to the airport, and because at the time it was hard to find good Mexican food in Washington State, I wanted one last burrito. My pager began buzzing just as our nachos arrived. There was a payphone in the back of the restaurant, and when I returned the page, I was told that I got the role. It was one of the biggest surprises of my life. I was also surprised to learn that Scary Movie was actually a comedy. This was after my audition. Speaking of nice surprises, State Farm provides coverage that meets your needs at a surprisingly great rate. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Hi, Sim.
Hi, Anna. I'm so excited right now.
Oh, God, you always start off like that.
You know why?
Why?
Because we have a special guest sitting right next to us.
That's very true. That's very true.
Am I special?
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Allison Janney, and I'm special.
And you're reading for the role of Patricia.
And I'm very nervous. I'm pretty excited about it, though. I forgot my sides, though.
Fine.
Do you have sides?
Oh, yeah, totally. Here they are.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so we'll just start off. Why don't you slate, if you don't mind? Look right into camera.
All right. Hi, I'm Allison Janney.
And you won an award this year. I just want to let our producers know. What was that?
I did.
What was that?
It's called an Oscar.
Oh, okay.
Wow, it's very impressive.
Okay, well, that's excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'll start off.
Okay.
Patricia, what the fuck, bitch?
Hello there. I am Patricia, and I discovered your podcast earlier this year and have really enjoyed catching up with the old shows and listening to the new ones.
Fuck you, Patricia. You never fucking listen to my fucking podcast.
It's not on my sides here, but I'm willing to improv. Fuck you as well.
Oh, that was excellent.
Thank you.
Allison, dear listeners,
I just happened to be walking by, dear listeners, I crashed their ad
we roped
reading
you in
thing. So
hey, so Allison, here's what we're gonna do though. First, we're gonna do do we
A
want
little
to
bit
do
of feedback. Yep. So,
Okay,
Allison,
we'll fill you in.
Okay.
This is what happened last week during the Judd Apatow episode.
I love Judd Apatow.
He's amazing.
Yeah,
So you're all caught up then with the podcast.
I am. Well, I haven't heard that podcast, but it hasn't been released yet, has it?
It has. Yep.
Oh, all right.
I love you. Are you kidding? No, I love you. No.
So, Allison, let me tell you what happened. So,
Okay.
Kathleen from Boston, we called her, and she was interested in flirting with this guy who is a comedian. She's also a comedian as well. But this guy has a girlfriend, and she decided to stop because it was getting a little awkward. The whole relationship was getting a little awkward. So Judd had advised that she should just focus on her energy on something new with more potential. And then I told her that she should just let it go and let the awkwardness fizzle away. And then Anna, you agreed, and you said that even though it's going to be difficult, you need to just let this go. So this is what one of our listeners wrote in. Kari writes, "Longtime fan, first-time caller, huge fan. I was just listening to your episode with Judd. Please pass this headshot along. JK, that would be awkward. And I heard Kathleen, the comedian, call in about crushing on another comedian. I thought you guys were very sweet to her, but being a lady comic myself, I just want her to focus on herself. No offense to any of my friends, but male comics suck. They are charming and witty, but you never know what's going on inside their head. How many minutes does Kathleen have? Could she feature? Is she performing outside Boston? These are questions Kathleen should be actually worried about. This guy sounds like a typical male comic, and she should take the worries she has about him and put the energy into her comedy career. What shows is she playing in Boston? Is this comedy career for fun, or does she want something out of it? Baby girl, forget him and move to New York and do a mic every night. I see so many of my beautiful female comic friends let a comic dude get in their head, and it's just not worth it. Honestly, at this point, the world needs more female comics, so I urge her to take this energy and put it back into herself. She should be selfish in love, yeah, Anna, but this love affair should be with herself and her career. Go, Kathleen, go. Anna and Sim, I listen every week, and I think you all fucking rock. You are the best ever. I love you, Anna, and fuck you, Sim.
Oh, thanks so much. And I think that's really good advice. Stand-up it's a complicated profession to be involved with.
Do you think we're going to piss off any male comics listening right now?
Oh, I'm sure.
I think they agree with.
Of course. They're so egotistical that of course they agree. They're like, fuck yeah, we're fucked up.
Yeah, they also tend to be sort of dour. I think a lot of comics are not as, they come off as being funny and lighthearted, and they're actually kind of serious and depressed.
But it's such an individualized performance. I mean, what we do acting, and I'm not like saying rush out and date an actor, but no, I'm not saying that at all. But with a stand-up, it's such an individualized performance. It's not unlike a musician. When you don't have sort of the back and forth creatively, when you truly are your own one-man band, it just adds another layer of complication to someone's, mentality and then to a relationship. God,
That's
good.
deep. That's really
I'm
deep.
so good. Allison, have you ever dated a stand-up?
I've had crushes on a lot of funny men, but I've never dated one before. I think I would steer clear.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, that's Anna's number 2 on the list of occupations you should not date. Magicians is number 2.
Yes, but stand-up is in there. But the problem is, the list of professions, these are all people that are very creatively inspiring. And that's sort of where people can become attracted to a really spicy individual that has interesting ideas, and that can be pretty addictive and attractive.
This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by Best Fiends. We all know there really is only one match 3 style game worth playing. It's the one with an actual storyline, cool collectible characters, and non-stop action-packed adventure. It's the one with literally thousands of challenging puzzles to solve. And yes, I'm using the word literally correctly. Of course, I'm talking about Best Fiends. You meet your best fiends early in their careers. They don't have much experience, but they have heart. I recognized a little piece of myself in each of them. And so I began to assemble the perfect team. I watched them grow as we solved puzzle after puzzle, working hard and playing hard. Today, my best fiends are ready to go anytime and anywhere. I'm really proud of what they have become. With new challenges and levels added all the time, there's never a boring moment. So download Best Fiends free today on the App Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R, Best Fiends. This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by The Pill Club. Do you need to renew your birth control prescription? Want to switch your birth control? Maybe try it for the first time. Whether you know the brand you want or you're looking for help finding the best option, the Pill Club medical team has your back. With the Pill Club, you'll never have to make a trip to the doctor or wait in line at the pharmacy. The Pill Club is a birth control subscription prescribed by a medical professional and delivered straight to your door for free in discreet packaging. The Pill Club carries over 120 FDA-approved brands. Most brands of birth control are free with insurance or Medicaid. Otherwise, prices start as low as $7 per month without insurance. Right now, when you go to thepillclub.com/unqualified, the Pill Club is offering a $10 donation to bedsider.org for every unqualified listener who becomes a patient. Your donation will help low-income individuals get access to birth control through bedsider.org. That's thepillclub.com/unqualified to get your first birth control care package. That's thepillclub.com/unqualified to get your first birth control care package and donate to help more women in need of affordable birth control. Remember, thepillclub.com/unqualified. You must use the link to make a donation.
She was so cute.
I used to live in Hermosa.
Oh my God, I live in Manhattan.
I loved it down there.
Well, okay. I tell everybody I live in Manhattan, but I actually live in Hawthorne.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in a small town called Clark Summit, Pennsylvania.
Can I ask you a question that's a real segue?
You can ask me anything.
And by segue, I mean,
Off track.
would you ever wipe Dame Judi Dench's butt?
Yeah, I would.
I knew it. I knew I loved you.
I know.
I knew
you
it.
You could tell when I walked in the room, I just had that glimmer in my eye.
Yes.
That I would wipe someone else's shit.
But anybody else's?
It's a short list, probably. I've never thought of making a list. Have you made a list?
No, I haven't. But
you thought about it.
I
obviously.
was a waitress at a nursing home. So while I didn't wipe anybody's bottoms, I like to think of myself as a person of service,
right, and
a kind person, sort of. And so most people, I would be like, yeah, I'll give you a helping hand.
Yeah.
That's
far.
But
if you're older.
So maybe the more interesting question is like, whose butt would you not wipe?
I think that list is longer.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. I don't think it's like evenly spaced out. Like I feel like the I would wipe my own.
Yeah.
For
good.
Sure.
That's good. That's very good.
Yeah. I would wipe yours.
You would?
Yeah.
Already? Even though we just like officially met?
I haven't met Judi Dench.
I do have a cute little bottom.
I know. I saw it. You're so
it's
thin.
little. Well, there isn't a ton of like to hold on to.
Right.
But the cavern isn't deep.
Uh-huh.
I think. So
right.
So I appreciate it. So
you've never gotten that
I'm just saying I could be
yeah.
like a beginner's butt wipe.
A beginner's bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a lot of anger towards too many people.
I feel like it's a quick little in and out job.
I like that. You're willing to like get dirty for like, the good of mankind.
Yeah.
You're a charitable person.
Thank you. You can't write that off in your taxes, though.
Can I ask you a few questions about what you do?
I would love that.
Okay. I was watching first of all, I have an obsession with ice skating, but I know nothing about it.
We should definitely go sometime.
Really?
Yeah. 100%.
Really? Do you mean it?
I'm dead serious. I think there's a rink not far from here.
I think you might be right, but I'm both terrified and thrilled. This might be one of the best invitations I've ever got. If you mean it, I would love to.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. I will. We can bring everybody. Does everybody want to go?
Okay, but how are you going to teach us anything? I mean, we're all like ding dongs on a rink. I just want to wear something like cute little thing and do a little bunny hop or something.
You want to do it.
I don't want to fall.
Right.
That fucking ice is hard.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like when you fall, because it's slippery, it kind of like releases a lot of like the impact.
Do you think that you know how to fall? I mean, of course you do. You know how to fall.
Well, when I started skating, like the first thing they teach you is how to fall.
And what does that entail? What do you mean?
Well, a fall is like when you fall and then they teach you how to get up.
So is it like a slide?
Sometimes when you fall, you kind of can't control what's happening or you freak out. And like a common thing that happens when you're a beginner skater is you're like, oh my God, I freak out. And you're like, don't move your hands and you like fall flat on your face. Or you don't like know how to maneuver yourself around to like fall onto your butt. So if you know how to fall and you feel like it's happening, especially as like a beginner skater, you'll like fall down in the right way so you won't get hurt.
So can you feel like upon takeoff, launch, whatever?
Oh my God, a technician?
I know, I'm sorry, but I'm so curious because being a champion skater feels, of course, it's very different. And this is a very naive thing for me to say, it's very different from something that can be easily calculated, like skiing, or there's somebody that crosses the finish line.
There's no like it starts, it stops, there's a finish line.
Right. It's like so much artistry and technical. It's a whole different idea of a sport. But so what do you call a takeoff?
A takeoff.
You do? You call it
Yeah.
takeoff? Can you tell when it's going perfectly? Like if like you chip the ice right? I don't know what I'm talking about.
I understand where you're coming from because like the passion is there.
But the knowledge is not.
Right. You're learning the language as like we go on. So like when you first start skating and you start to learn the jumps, you obviously have like not a fucking clue what's happening. You're like, maybe I'm going down, maybe I'm not.
Isn't it must be fucking terrifying.
But when I skated, I was pretty late to the game. I started when I was like 10, and usually people start when they're like 5. So I just was having like so much fun just trying everything. But like later in my career, as I'm doing everything, I've like done it so many times that I have a better awareness. So I know when like it's like when you have a takeoff and you like tap into the ice, I know when it's not perfect, but I've worked so much on my awareness that I've learned how to try to save it.
So, and it must also, the condition of the ice must be a big factor, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, so when I was a young, like up and coming star, yeah. I was pretty like a little bit picky with the ice. So if it was like kind of rough, I'd be like, oh.
You were a diva to begin with. I like that.
Yeah, I knew you would.
Okay, so but it was like
then I was like, you know what? I like need to be prepared for anything. And so like probably the last few years of my career, I tried to just turn into this like ghetto skater. So like some days I would go to the rink and I would like put myself through like little challenges. I skated at a rink that had a few different surfaces. Some days I would skate the very last session after the ice would just be a mess.
And you were talking, I think I heard an interview where you were talking, or maybe it was that brilliant, like the skating analyzation that you did of different movie clips. If you practice after a hockey tournament, like how the ice is all fucking torn up or whatever.
Yes. So I would do stuff like that. I would purposely skate on awful ice to prove to myself that like if I showed up somewhere, I would still be great. And I took confidence in knowing that I would be great and everybody else would be panicking.
Would you ever ski on a river that was recently frozen over?
Yeah, why not?
Well, I just don't
know.
know.
Do they freeze
over
over in Burbank? I don't come up here very often.
I just don't know. Like if it cracks, I just don't know what your swimming ability is.
Awful.
Okay.
I've never skated on a lake.
We have to make this happen. But
you tell everybody that, don't you?
We gotta skate on a
lake
or a lake and hope the ice cracks and we'll just sit by the
Do you
fire.
know I recently like on Facebook I saw one of these videos of like if you fall through ice how to get out.
How do you get out?
I don't know.
Do you look for like the air pocket or something?
No, you stop. You don't move.
Okay.
And you go onto your stomach, and you start kicking like you're swimming, and you'll slide up out of it, and you'll slide like a seal, like out of the hole.
And are you hoping that just somebody sees you, like some of your buddies, or like?
I don't know. I just don't ever think I'll ever be caught in this circumstance where like I'll fall through the lake.
There's one more thread I want to pull a little bit. Well, a few. Because here at Mom, I do, this multicam show. And oftentimes we'll mess up. Usually it's me. I'm usually the first person to mess up a line to like, and it throws the rhythm. And so we'll have to sort of like regroup. And I'm kind of hard on myself. So it throws me mentally a little bit. But then we do it. And I do it every episode multiple times because it's just a lot of like mental, energy. And I'm not... I think that maybe I'm smarter than I really am, but I'll let Sim tell me that later. But how do you mentally recover from like a fall and then continue to execute perfect jumps?
Something that I learned like later in my career, because like when at first, like I think in the same way, if you felt like you messed up a line, you felt like you threw your rhythm off, or you're like, okay, great. Like today was the day I was going to nail everything and I like fucked up already. And I've had like moments of that, like especially like in a practice when you're getting ready for a competition, like when there are nerves and stuff, you like mess up one jump in practice and you're like, okay, well, this is the beginning of the end of my demise and I should start writing my like retirement letter and retire. And I had a really good run and it was, I remember like my favorite memories and like, this is how it ends though. And this is all within like a 5-minute like time lapse. But I became more and more delusional in the way where I was like, I'm fine. You know that my favorite like meme is that's like the cartoon of the dog, and the dog is sitting at the kitchen table and he says everything is fine and the whole kitchen is on fire. I felt like so many times in my life I was the dog in the kitchen fire and I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And I think when you tell yourself that you're fine and you just talk yourself out of the chaos, you're able to kind of move forward from there.
Sometimes, like if I mess up early on in like the first scene, I'll fuck up a line and then I'll say shit, or no, that's not how it goes. I'll fuck up a line and I'll say fuck, and the audience is like, and then I'll say shit because I realize that I fucking swore in front of the audience again,
right?
And everyone's like, oh, and then I'll just like awkwardly dance. Mm-hmm. They'll be playing some like hip hop music while the writers are like, "Oh God, she fucked up again." But it is like almost it's like the dancing and the like if I attempt to laugh it off, I'll start to believe it in myself that it's not a big deal. I don't know if it's the same process.
Absolutely. It's 100% the same thing. Where like, if you would make a mistake, like when I was practicing and I would make a little mistake, my first reaction would be to like, weird. That's weird. That never happens. Even if it happened all the time. And I tricked myself into just believing that I was like so consistent and that like I couldn't miss anything. And then eventually like my delusion caught up to my reality. And I was really consistent and just like felt so powerful.
That's a very magnetic quality that an artist has. You completely have that. People are really drawn to you. And you just have the fucking essence. Have I ever said I'm crazy about you, Adam? You should be so honored.
No, I am. I am so honored. I knew that this was going to be special as soon as I saw a fruit plate and a bitten like burrito next to you. As soon as I saw a bitten burrito, I was like, she's here to play.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but
it'll take way more.
Really?
Yeah, you can ask me literally whatever.
Okay.
The first question was, would I wipe Judi Dench's asshole?
Listen, we got
Which
a long
I
ways
would.
to go then.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Are you missing competition? Are you competing now? And are
I'm
you
not
missing
competing, and no, I'm not missing it.
You're not? Why?
No, like going to the Olympics was this grand goal, huge dream that I had for such a long time that I didn't really realize like how much stress was behind it. Because I made it to the Olympics at 28, and at 28 I was the oldest first timer since.
Fuck, you look young.
Thank you. It's just tinted moisturizer.
God, it's
underneath.
good.
It's just I look like a wildebeest because I'm also wearing a spray tan too.
I doubt that. So here's how I imagine it.
Tell me.
So you train for years. For years. You like whatever, go through a fucking gazillion competitions, all this shit, wardrobe fittings and fucking trainings and harnesses and all kinds of crazy ass stuff.
And that's
injuries.
just a Thursday.
Yes. And like, hey, I like you, but I don't. Those moments and whatever. And then but the goal is the Olympics. You finally get there and you're in a bunk bed without an adapter.
I love like in your worst horrible nightmare.
I don't know.
Like,
I just don't know
where's
what
the adapter.
What's the Olympic Village like?
So, okay. I'm so glad I went later in life because I had a greater perspective. Because I was, by the time I made it, I was like, this is just like a victory lap. This was the goal. Like, I'm here and I should really enjoy every single second.
But that's a lot of pressure too, especially if you're competing later on in the weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because
so I was we were one of the first events, and but all throughout.
Oh, okay.
So I competed once, and then 2 weeks later, I competed again.
Okay, is everyone hooking up in the village?
Okay,
Come on.
Okay, I will give you the lowdown and the beat down.
Okay.
Hooking up in
Is
the
it
village.
like group chili night?
Okay, it's
like, like what is happening?
okay. So the cafeteria is like, what is that called? Fuddruckers?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah?
what is it? Fuddruckers?
This hamburger place, right? Fuddruckers.
No. What's that place that I would, if I go, it's like Chuck E. Cheese for adults.
Oh, Dave and Buster's.
yes.
Dave
Dave
and
and
Buster's. It's like Dave and Buster's where there's like no games. Okay, so it's like not Dave and Buster's at all, but it's like Dave and Buster's of food.
Okay.
So like there's like a Asian food section, there's like American food section, but it's like literally every kind of food you could want, so it can appeal to everybody.
is
Open
there-
24 hours.
Like, okay.
So like
alright.
that's, I think, like I've gone in there late and I saw people, like canoodling.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. But here's the thing. You wait.
Is there like a bar?
No, but there is McDonald's there. It's like a bar. McDonald's is like a bar.
I just wanted
if
to
you
know
think
the
about
late
it.
night
Yeah.
canoodling without a bar with McDonald's.
I also went to the Olympics. I'm 28 and I look around and everyone is young. So they're like 20-ish.
And do they have like
teenagers.
chaperone people around hovering?
No, because they can't get like credentialed to go into the village. So they're there on their
Oh,
own.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. They're having a good time then.
Well, so then I also,
They're like, I snuck in some Molly.
yeah, but they're just talking about a girl named Molly.
Oh,
So
that
like,
American fucking bitch.
where's the Molly? So I think the one thing I was really excited for was like there are going to be condoms everywhere.
Because you just can't get enough condoms in general.
No,
You are a condom
connoisseur.
collector. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I was like,
International condoms.
yeah, so excited about these Olympic condoms.
Yeah.
And they're like, we go through 100,000 condoms a day. I'm like, oh my God.
100,000 condoms a
Yeah.
day. I feel like, isn't there like sort of a thing where you're not supposed to get laid before you compete? Like, doesn't it like release too much testosterone or something like that? I don't know. Doesn't like your semen help fuel you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I drink my own semen every morning. And I feel incredibly fueled. That's why my skin is so good.
You didn't even need to go to Dave and Buster's. You
No,
just
I was
wanted to
Dave
see
and
the-
Bustering on my face. Yeah. So the condoms,
Yeah,
you have to go
they're
to
just all over the place.
No, they're nowhere to be found.
Oh, so you have to ask your like what your
You
coach?
have to go to the medical room.
Oh God!
Awful.
Oh, this is horrible. So you can't even have like a spontaneous hookup with some, like whatever skier from the Ukraine or like,
Yeah. And everyone's dream, by the way. Skier
and
from
you
the
have to
Ukraine.
like it has
have
to
to
be
go to-
so premeditated.
Yes, you need to
gotta
go
the
to
medic-
medical
Oh,
center.
fuck.
And so then I was like, well, why do people take so many? But then when I saw the dish, I became overcome with power. And I was like, I'm going to take so many for my friends at home because I was like, they all
They're
know
Olympic
about
condoms. Do they have like the 5 rings?
No.
Oh, they're just
They were
regular
like,
fucking condoms.
it was in Korean and then underneath in
Oh.
English, it just said generic condom.
Oh, geez.
Awful.
I don't feel
That's
like
not
it's
even
honoring
name brand.
the athletes.
No. That was dishonoring.
Yeah. I mean, I guess y'all could have brought your own. Next time I'm going to send you away with like a nice care package. Michael Sherman can hook you up.
Thank you, Michael. I knew he would.
Yeah. He's my great assistant. He does anything. He brought me home like a bunch of lube the other day, which I thought was pretty hysterical.
You're the man, Michael. Do you
Yeah.
know? So after the Olympics, I complained about the condoms, and Trojan sent me 3 boxes that they put crystals on.
They bedazzled
They
the condoms?
bedazzled the boxes.
Oh, see, okay. They bedazzled the boxes.
Yeah.
I had a different image for a minute. Like,
No, I know
bedazzling
exactly what you had in
condoms,
mind.
which would be kind of scrapey. You know how like a male cat apparently has spurs, and so that's why. Yeah, like when they have sex, they
Wait, is it
howl.
like
Have you ever heard a cat having sex? I love cats.
Not recently.
It is fuck. It sounds like a baby is being eaten by a wolf. And so the female is like, ow. And it's awful. It's traumatizing.
I know.
And I heard that as a young girl, and I asked my parents about it. Yeah, and I actually was part of their abstinence program. They probably had the cats like planted outside my bedroom window.
Wait, you would hear this often?
Yes.
Did you live outside a cat brothel?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I lived in Washington State.
Which is known for its cat breeding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what else it's known for? This is
What?
weird. We have coffee huts up there, pre-Starbucks, little coffee huts in that like it's small, essentially a small business, but it's a tiny hut that's usually in a parking lot.
Is it a Dutch?
It's just a small hut, and usually like hot girls from the high school like work there, and they're like, "Do you want your Snickers latte?" Like, "Hey, Randy," or whatever. That truly is. That is exactly how it goes. But now they have topless ones.
What?
Yeah. So these poor
Like no lids or no tops?
like titties.
Oh, titties.
Yeah. So in the cold, like dead of winter, these poor girls are making Snickers lattes for Randy over and over and over again with no shirts on. And they have to like slide the window open. Listen,
This is real?
Yes, this is real. This is real. This is where I grew up. I hope now you understand me.
I do. It's a lot of clarity.
Okay, can I ask you some more questions?
Please. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, I do want to ask you more. So no bunk bed?
So yeah, you wait your whole life, you go to the Olympics.
And do you bring a sleeping bag?
Well, our village was
Is this the American village? Like, I don't understand the village.
so the village is all of the athletes. And so where we all stayed was new apartments that they had like just built in time for the Olympics. But because they were new, they didn't want any of the athletes to touch anything. So like everything was covered in plastic.
Oh, that's comfort. That like prepares you for competition, right? It's like, yeah, this is restful.
Yeah, you're like, this
I'm
is
jet
great.
lagged
Yeah.
and,
so it was like no sink, no refrigerator, like cabinets that you couldn't touch. They had like everything taped off, and like sometimes the
Like
heat-
they're already the lease like has already been signed for the
yes,
new
everything
tenants.
was all bought. So like the Americans had one building, we had like a building, and then if it was like a country that had a smaller amount of athletes, like one country would get half of the building, the other country would get the other half. So, but each building had like a flag on it. And it was always so like, I always got like a chill because outside of the American building, I would look out and you see the Olympic rings, and then I look up and it's like the North Korean flag. Cause like our building was right next to theirs.
And you're like, I should have brought binoculars. Just
Yeah.
see what's happening.
Yeah. I was just wondering how you're doing. Yeah.
But was it sort of an international bonding experience? Did you feel that at all? Did you feel, because that's like the romance. I love the Olympics. That's the romanticism that I get caught up in, but I don't see the practicality of.
Well, I think that I, like as an American athlete, really bonded with a lot of the other American athletes where like I never see the speed skaters, I never see the snowboarders, I never see the skiers. And it was like the first time in my like career that it all coincided in one event.
Did you have to like ever borrow anything from another athlete?
Like?
Well, I was going to go with something gentle like shaving cream or like
I'm
tweezers, but I don't know. Like,
No, I don't
could
think
be
so.
something
I had a
else.
roommate that she brought a lot of chocolate and candy. Oh, so like also I was in a 3-bedroom and there were 5 of us.
Okay.
And that's pretty normal. There's like the smallest amount of people in one room in Team USA house, which is what we called our building, the USA house.
Very creative. I'm glad you guys really
we
thought long and hard.
brainstormed.
Yeah.
It was like a few long calls, and finally we were like, just call it the USA house. So the floor, like the way the building was heated, was like the floors would get hot. But she brought a ton of candy, and every time she would go to practice, I would eat like.
Wait,
her
and what
candy.
did she do?
She was my teammate in
You
the.
fucking ate her candy?
I was helping her.
Fuck you. That just feels so cruel. She like brought that candy over.
I know, it was international. It's awful, but like I've known her for a while, so she knew what to expect.
Okay. Do I have to watch all my little action figures over there? And
Yeah, it's
Are
when
you
I
a
have
little
one
bit
in
of a
here already.
klepto?
Yeah, just of candy. When I was stressed, I would like eat candy.
oh, That makes sense, though.
Listen, it's a dog-eat-dog world.
Yeah. Are you still in touch with?
Yes. She's one of my dear friends. Her name's Mirai Nagasu. And so she was, we were on the same team and we won a medal together.
So you wouldn't ever want to do it again, though?
No.
And was your family there, too?
My mom, and so I'm one of 6. My mom and one sister and one brother came.
But why not ever again?
I think the mental state I needed to be in to go to the Olympics, I needed to realize that it was just another event. And I think because I was older, I soaked in the whole experience. I could see everything that it was about. I skated my very best. I'm not going to do any better. And I don't need to put myself through the stress of all of that again.
I think that is so incredibly healthy.
For all the unhealthy things I've ever done, that's the most healthy thing that I've ever done.
Because it is, at some point, it's like you're chasing something that you have to sort of weigh the stress versus, I think, the gratification and also your own motivation of why are you doing this? What is it giving you?
I think dating an athlete is so hard.
Is there an athlete that you would date?
Yeah, like a hot one, I guess.
What about like an archer? Or
yeah, why not?
But you just said you wouldn't date athletes.
Listen.
You're backtracking.
Beggars can't be choosers.
I don't think you're begging.
No, I have a boyfriend though too.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, how long have you guys... Well, you don't have to talk too much about it if you don't want to.
I'm an open book.
Okay.
I have to take off this sweater.
Okay, but I really like it.
Thank you.
Okay, but I do want to imagine after you tell us a little bit about your boyfriend, or you don't have to, whatever, but because I try not to press my celebrity guests too much on their personal stuff, even though I want to know. Long-term relationship?
Yeah,
or is it recently new?
So we've been together for almost a year, but we met on Tinder while I was at a competition in Finland.
I love it. You're in Helsinki.
Exactly.
And you are on Tinder.
I'm very focused on the competition.
So
left, right, left.
Yeah. You're so dedicated.
Yeah.
So you're in this hotel room.
That's the dedication that they talk about during the Olympics.
You see some dude and he's like, hi, want to meet at...
Well, I don't know. We never met. We matched. And then we talked a little bit, but then the competition got started and we didn't really talk. But then a few weeks later...
Is he... So he's
not a skater.
But I assume he's also not American.
No.
Yeah. All right.
All this foreign things are better, like foreign cars.
So you like to not know anybody.
No. No, it was great. Well, what ended up happening is that we started lightly chatting back and forth, and there was a few things where it was he had been in the process of
was there cute language barrier issues?
He had a really cute accent that I just was
you could
dead
detect
for.
Over text.
Oh yeah, it was just one word would be off, and in my own mind, I'm like, he doesn't get it. And it was so endearing, because he was trying so much harder. Because he didn't speak English. I mean, he speaks English brilliantly and probably better than I do. But so he was in the process of moving to LA, and I was in LA, and he was like, "What are you doing in Finland?" And so we just started chatting a little bit. And I think because I was I'm never gonna fucking meet him, that I just was so open.
Right.
And he was so open. And then we started talking every day. And he was like, I am going to come to LA. Do you want to get together? And in my own mind, I'm like, fuck yeah. But what I said was yeah, that'd be cool.
Keep the guard up. You've learned a lot.
Oh yeah, I have. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing though.
Yeah, he's super cute. He's really, really nice.
This episode of Unqualified is brought to you in part by Intuit, powering products like TurboTax, QuickBooks, Mint, and Credit Karma. Intuit works for what you work for, and it was only recently that I found out they were working for me. I've been using QuickBooks for years and more recently began using Mint, which is an easy way to create monthly budgets. It was a bit surprising to realize how much I could save by learning how to make coffee. With Intuit, artificial intelligence can predict your future cash flow, recognize a misplaced digit in an account or routing number, and even connect users with live experts who can assist with navigating life changes or help with unique tax situations. Everything is automatically organized as you track your personal or business expenses by scanning receipts, invoices, and other financial documents, while smart budgeting tools let you know before you overspend. Innovative features like these make managing your finances simple, but as you probably already knew, innovation is at the core of everything Intuit does. Discover how Intuit's products can help you see what's possible at intuit.com. That's INTUIT.com. This episode is brought to you in part by Plant Botanical. As everyone slowly comes out of hiding, many of you are asking the same questions. Am I ready for actual human contact? Should I swipe right? Will they look like their picture? Do I look like my picture? Is that the face of an axe murderer? Do I really want to take off these sweats? And for those of you who get that far, what drink should I be casually sipping? I have the answer to that one. While your date sits awkwardly silent, stunned by your good looks, dazzled by your intellect, or wondering how to dispose of your body, the drink in your hand should be delicious, refreshing, crisp, clean, Plant Botanical Vodka Seltzer. Weighing in at only 1 carb, made with real fruit and botanicals traditionally used for stamina, immunity, and detox, Plant Botanical is already thinking about your future encounters. Follow and DM at Plant Loves You and share a story or video of your funniest, wildest, or most awkward date for a chance to win up to $1,000 for your next one. Plant Botanical, your perfect companion while you look for your perfect companion. Available at Target, Pavilions, Vons, Total Wine, or visit plantlovesyou.com to find a store near you. Plant Vodka and Vodka Seltzer. Just the good shit.
Dating deal breakers. Imagine you're single.
Okay.
The first time he comes to your house, he says, "Where do you keep your copper medal?"
Deal breaker. Copper? Made of pennies? Is he rationing for the war? Copper?
Well, I just think he didn't realize that, like, he thought that, you know.
This is a deal breaker because this is a long
medal
explanation. This is the same explanation he would give, right? I just didn't know. Pennies? Oh. Sorry.
He met all of his previous boyfriends on Grindr. Different guy.
That's not a deal breaker.
Oh, all right.
It's 2018.
He tells you on the first date that he works a lot with plaster.
I think that's a deal solidifier. I'm into that.
All right. But if you explore a little more
of plaster,
you find out that he's a listen, this is Cassie's twisted mind over here. He's a dildo model.
Oh, I mean, I think that's not a deal breaker either. If his dick is good enough to reproduce,
he does okay sales.
They make a net, a gross profit. Yeah.
He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Started his own company.
Yeah. They break about even every year.
He thinks that a double axle is a car part. And I wish I could have phrased this a different way. Like, because I don't know how you sort of drop in, like, oh yeah, so you got a double axle.
Oh, like we're down in the garage?
Like, yeah. Or like maybe you just throw in like, oh yeah, whatever. Like double axles are easy.
That's
like,
not a deal breaker. I think that's endearing.
Okay. That's very sweet of you.
Thank you.
I really like that. I like it though, because maybe he doesn't, like, he likes you for you and not for what you do.
My boyfriend didn't watch me skate at the Olympics because he wanted to watch it with me together.
Oh,
So he actually had never seen
that's
me
really
skate.
sweet. Because maybe he was was he nervous?
He was nervous, but he also didn't want to like know too much about like he was always involved and asked how it was and how I was feeling, but he didn't ever want to become a fan.
I would imagine that I would be so nervous, more nervous than you potentially. Like as somebody that loves you,
Watching is worse than
yeah. I would think that, right?
because you're out of control.
That would be like, I don't know, if I were an Olympic athlete, which I plan on being
Right.
in the next decade.
I was gonna say decade too. Yeah,
Do they still have rhythmic gymnastics?
they do
Oh, good. Yes.
because that's what you've been training.
I can do a little ribbon work.
Some balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Balance it. I'm going to do like this whole weird dolphin thing.
Right.
You know,
they're not
you know what
ready.
I'm saying.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we do calls. This is an odd
Relationship
part.
advice calls.
Thank you so much. You're so kind to be
I
here.
love
I'm
it.
sorry I'm so obnoxious.
Oh my God, I'm having such a great time.
People call us. Do you know about this part?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Sometimes people don't, but I haven't seen these questions. I don't know. I don't
All
know
right,
any
so
of
we
this.
are going to call Sarah first, and Sarah is in Northern California, and she is 29. Let's call her up here.
I'm so glad. So are you guys. I love it. You guys are together. That's great. Oh, do you say Rippon? Rippon.
Yes.
I get that with Anna. Rippon. What do people say? Rippon?
Hello.
Hey, Sarah, it's Sim. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, Anna. Say
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, I'm here with Adam Rippon, and he's awesome.
Hey, Sarah.
Oh my gosh. Can't wait for your Will and Grace episode.
Thank you.
Hey, Sarah, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Sarah, you have a situation with ghosting. Tell us what's going on. We're going to try and help you with the situation.
Yeah, so this is just kind of one example of something I've come across. So I've been sort of out of the dating game for a while. And the last time I was in serious relationships, it was sort of before the explosion of the apps. And now being in the Bay Area, that kind of seems like my only option to meet people. So I came across a guy lately who seemed to have everything together. He was a little older than me. He had his own place. He had a great job. And like, I feel like in San Francisco, that's kind of the Holy Trinity. And we went on 2 great dates. And then he went away for work for 3 weeks, and I haven't heard from him since. So it's been a couple weeks since he's been back, and I'm just kind of torn between, reaching out to him and putting myself out there again, letting him off the hook because this is just sort of, the way dating goes. And then there's the feminist side of me that doesn't want to let a straight, white, cisgender male ignore me. So I'm not sure which way to go on this one.
And don't forget, she's new to online dating. So this is a very new situation. She's never experienced like this before.
And Sarah, I haven't ever online dated, so I don't know this world. I do think, I don't know. This might be a question. This is for you guys. The first thing when you told us that I thought of was that he may have been in a relationship, and this is, and may still be, or like sort of in and out of a relationship. Mm-hmm. People tend to do that if they're in a relationship that they feel like is crumbling, or if they want to experience other things. The first thing I think that some people do is like start to go out and try to hook up with other people, and it's not the kindest practice. I'm not advocating that behavior, but I don't, it seems to me from what you've told us, Sarah, that the ghosting isn't personal. Having said that, I do not think you should reach out to him.
Agree with you, Anna.
Yeah.
Adam?
You know what, Sarah? I think here's the thing. I think that like I met my boyfriend on like Tinder, and I think there's no shame in like meeting somebody online because I'm sure you're super busy and you're working a lot, and it's the easiest way to meet people. And I think that as the feminist queen that you sound like you are, I think that you shouldn't be afraid to take like initiative So I think that if it hadn't been so long, and that it has been a few weeks, I don't think that you should try to reach out to him. But I think like in the future, if you want to be like the person who reaches out, you should do that, because like there's no rule that you shouldn't.
Well, here's the thing, Sarah. I think that something. So did he, when you went out on this date and you guys kind of, hooked up a little bit or whatever, things felt very flirtatious. Did he say things to you like that felt a little more serious? Things like this, like you're the most beautiful person, or like I think I'm falling for you, or like did he miss? Do you know what I'm saying? Because I think that
Like lead you on or something.
Yeah, like I really think I'm falling for you, or like phrases along those lines.
Not really, but I don't know. I think, he's like 8 years older than me, so he's in his like mid to late 30s. He was pretty straightforward about the fact that like he's not into texting really and prefers to make a connection in person. So that's kind of like
That's weird. Stop.
This is okay, Sarah. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be a little direct right now. You need to just keep swiping, keep dating, because here's the thing.
He's in another relationship, right?
That's what's happening. When you're online dating, when you're on Tinder, you have options, and he's going to continue to date other people. This is not a reflection on you, because you're awesome, and he probably thinks you're awesome as well. But maybe he's just either had a connection with someone else and didn't want to tell you, or he's just wants to play the field and date. And he's probably a great guy too. I'm not saying but I mean, most guys are pussies. They're not going to just say, "Hey, listen, I'm not interested in you." They would rather ghost. That's just the way it is.
But here's the thing: when Sarah says something like that he said, "I'm not that into texting," which I can relate to, but for different reasons. That is an indication to me that he's not going to text you back because he's in a relationship and he's worried that the other person will see texts from you. That to me...
But if he really wanted to see Sarah, he would be texting all the time.
Oh, completely.
So,
exactly.
But
the fact that he was proactive about that,
right.
though, here's the thing. You know what I'm saying?
He
like,
was setting himself up.
Exactly.
Not to fail.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, essentially saying, don't text me. I'm not going to text you back, because what he's really thinking is, I don't want to risk my girlfriend seeing texts from you.
It may not be a girlfriend, maybe just be anyone that he's dating, because he's probably dating a lot of people.
Yeah, could be for sure. Yeah, that's. But whatever it is, it's not worth your time, Sarah.
Exactly.
I don't want you to.
There are amazing guys out there.
Yeah.
Just keep swiping, keep going on dates.
And some people are really great at doing like 3 or 4 impression dates. And they're fantastic at it, and they seem amazing. And it seems like, but that this is everything I wanted. This is a total package or whatever. But some people are just really good at presenting that one element. And I think that even in the perfect world, if you were to be in a relationship with him, that if you wanted to be in a relationship with him for like 6 or 7 months, that you would uncover a lot of flaws. I don't like it that he said that he wasn't like that big of a texter. That devalues you a little bit, I want you to be worshipped, Sarah.
It was just interesting because he said that, before we met up, and I was like, okay, great. I don't want to look at my phone that much either. Let's just go on our first date and then see where that goes. And then it was after the first date that we went on that it was like I was hearing from him every single day between the first day I met him and then like 2 weeks later.
Odd.
No, it's not odd. He met someone else is what it is, or he's dating other people. I'm
Right.
sure it was great for that time. That's why he continued to text you.
Right.
And then he swiped right and found someone else. I'm sorry, but this is what happened.
You're right.
This is so clear to me.
I mean, no, I know. Like, I don't, because I'm not familiar. Yeah. All right.
I'm sorry, Sarah, but you have to keep doing this too. You have to keep dating as well. This is not a reflection on you at all. This is just the way it is right now.
Totally. And I've been on like 4 or 5 more dates since this whole first date went down, and it's just like, the options out there are just not great right now.
Just keep going.
Or maybe I'm fucking right.
Don't get discouraged. Just keep doing it.
And also I always fulfill like look beyond dating apps as well. Sometimes fulfilling fulfilling relationships sort of happen in areas in your life that you don't expect. Like dating your cousin or something.
We've all done it.
All right, some final advice for Sarah before we let her go.
Sarah, I hope that this guy didn't I don't know, mess with your head too much at all. But yeah, I would definitely not reach out to him. That's a losing game. But I would really be interested if he pursues you again. I think so. Please let us know if that happens, because that would be a very curious, element. Because I think that Sim he's right that he's dating other people and maybe he's getting laid and whatever.
He may reach out to her again. You're right, because if it doesn't work out with the girl he's dating right now, he'll realize, oh my God, Sarah was amazing. I fucked up, and he'll try that whole angle,
either that
manipulative angle,
but I also don't want Sarah to feel like she's the second runner-up,
and she shouldn't be. She should completely ignore that text when she gets that.
I totally agree. I think, you know what, if he made you feel like this now and you've known him for less than a month or two, it's only going to repeat itself. And he doesn't even know you. He's still trying to make a good impression. And if he tries to reach out later, it's just a little bit too late.
We'll call him and school his ass.
It's done. Yeah, it's done. It's done. Just don't do anything.
I've been ghosted
a
million times.
Listen.
How?
I don't know how.
Wait, you've been ghosted?
A billion times.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, it's going amazing. And then I'll be like, I've literally been ghosted to the point of I'm about to leave my house 5 minutes before.
Is it like Richard Branson? Who is ghosting you? Who would ever ghost you?
That's exactly what I thought. And I bet Sarah is going through the same thing right now, where you're like, how am I getting ghosted? I'm really good at this. And then all of a sudden you don't hear from them. But you know what, Sarah? As soon as you hit it big, you're going to hear from everybody.
Who the fuck is ghosting you, Adam?
That's exactly what we're asking Sarah right now.
Jesus.
All right, Sarah.
Actually,
Fuck. You're a fucking super
quick.
smoking hot, hysterical
Sarah, everything's going to
medalist.
work out for you. Don't worry about it. Just keep swiping. You're going to find some great guy.
Wait. She had one more final thought, though.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Sarah.
So the one time this has happened to me before where I got ghosted was actually the day the Unqualified book was released. And I was literally about to leave my house to go on this date, and this guy texted me, canceled, and instead I got to go pick up on his book, and I stayed up until 4 o'clock reading it and finished it in one night.
Sarah, thank you for saying that. I love you, and I thank you for saying that. At first I was worried, am I a bad omen? But
Oh my God.
but no,
No, definitely. It was way better to spend the night with you than with any stupid guy.
well, fuck these dicks.
Yeah, they're dumb as shit.
And please keep in touch. Let us know whatever happens with this guy, but please just keep in touch in general. We want to know about the other dating experiences, and you can always just say fuck it and come move to Los Angeles.
Thank you, Sarah.
I love you and thank you.
Love you too, Anna. Bye.
Oh, bye, Sarah. It's such a world. I have no idea that language. I don't know anything about it.
She's new to it, which is why, this is a nice lesson for her.
Yeah. You get so used to it.
It's a nice lesson for her.
It is. If you're new and
you sound like you're 83.
This is a good lesson for her.
I'm so glad this happened to her. Okay. And I'm glad we had this call, because she's going to be so much happier after this. She's going to understand that this is how it works.
Yeah. But also, I don't know.
And she shouldn't take it personally.
Ghosting happened back when I was in college to me, but it just was different. It wasn't. Yeah, Sim was like, "Get out of here! Get out of here, Faris."
I'm just getting the page.
No. But
how did ghosting happen to you when you were in college?
Oh, it's like
People
a guy
died.
wouldn't call you because I poisoned
Yeah,
him.
because they died.
All right.
That's
No, but
ghosting.
it's like a guy wouldn't call you after you hung out with him and you thought, oh, whatever. There was a
old
mild
school ghosting.
Old school ghosting.
I think we have just so
that's
much
why I
access to so
became
many people
a
that
stalker.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
All right.
I wasn't bad.
At stalking,
I wasn't bad.
it's good to know.
Adam, that's right.
We're calling
So-
Jake now.
You live in the South Bay.
And Jake is in Minnesota.
You're going to take me ice skating, right? You promised.
And he's 32.
Okay.
Hello.
Jake.
Yep, this is me.
Hi, Jake. It's Sim. Say hi to Anna.
Hi, Jake. I'm sorry, Jake, that Sim just directed you to say hi to me. He's been doing that lately. He'll be like, hey, say hi to Anna, or Anna, say hi
to Jake.
Yeah,
right.
and it's like, fuck you, Sim. Anyway, Jake, hi, it's Anna. Thank you so much for doing this. And you are here with Adam Rippon.
Hi, Jake.
Hello.
You're so sweet to do this. I love it when we get a male caller. Thank you.
Jake, tell us what you want to know here. You want to know something about porn and your husband? Talk to us here.
I can paint the picture a little bit. We've been together for a very long time, 8 years. During that time, we've always been very affectionate, and we just decided that, a long time ago, we weren't going to watch that together. But then, because my husband just really, his ex before me liked to watch porn when they did stuff, so it was kind of like a complex in that sense that he just wasn't comfortable with it and made him feel weird and reminded him of his past relationship. So fast forward many years later, though, and, me and him have been discussing lately the fact that it's like, well, I occasionally watch porn. I know that you occasionally look at porn.
Well, can I ask, because porn is, it can be pretty loaded. And actually, Sim and I were talking about, we were having a heated argument about American Pie earlier, and we started talking a little bit about porn, and you were telling me that, like, what was a relief, Sim. I'm sorry, I don't mean to, like, expose
I don't even know where you're going with this, but
you told me about the massage, the soft core stuff, because there's like all kinds of levels of porn, right?
We're talking about Skinemax.
Yeah, and
What did you call me?
wait, so Jake, do you think that there's like different trauma though that your husband may have experienced that sort of could involve something like that brings up different emotions when he watches porn?
I guess the more so that we've had the conversations, we've also been just talking about, like, what is your turn on? I mean, like, because we want to be respectful of each other, but then you have to kind of come to a realization that you can still be attracted to other people, but not.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, you're human, so it's normal to be, like, attracted, and I think, like, wanting to be in a relationship with somebody and be monogamous is, you don't have sex with other people because you want to, like, respect the relationship that you're in. Are you guys, like, afraid that if you watch porn together that, like, something is going to change between you?
Well, is that a gateway into changing the way that we experience our lovemaking? Like, will it taint it in a sense? Like basically, like, will it impact the morals of our relationship in some strange way? And like, basically, like, some of the conversations that me and my husband have had in the past, we say, like, well, what if it kind of seems like you're more interested in the person on the screen rather than the actual action going on with your partner? Because people watch porn to get into it, and so how do you know that you're both doing that together at the same time?
Right. So, okay, let me ask you a few questions. Do you guys have like a big like a power dynamic between you guys? Like, is your partner more insecure or scared of losing you? And the reason, but like, I am pro whatever anyone wants to do, but I do wonder if it makes him, the idea of that makes him feel like, fundamentally insecure in terms of losing you, and if you'll be turned on by somebody else and how that makes him feel. Or, I mean, I guess that's sort of what you're alluding to a little bit.
I can understand what you're saying.
But do you think, am I way off track?
I think there's insecurities. There's insecurities on both of our sides because, we got in our relationship. He was 19 and I was 23. And we both grew up in rural Minnesota. We weren't even out at the time to our families. Well, he was, but I wasn't. So, like, basically we were like two leprechauns that found each other, in the backwoods of the Iron Range of Minnesota. And it's just, we've latched onto each other so affectionately and deeply. And I feel like, why can't we, like when you get over this hump of just like it shouldn't be as much of a.
Right. Well, okay, here is my naive, and then I feel like Adam should take over. Here's my naive advice. I know that in my gender stereotyping, visuals can be more powerful and more effective for men, but I like to play in the imaginatory realm. I like to play characters. I like literature. And it is like a slightly easier way to sort of gently experiment, I think.
Like slowly incorporating different aspects, like, but
yeah.
Well, I think that part of it for me too was that, I've never been with another man like I've been with my husband. If that makes sense. Like basically, my virginity when I was 23. So imagine a young man growing up from, how old out in the country to 23 years old. That was my exposure to.
Yeah. I know. And are you guys happy together in general?
Oh, absolutely. We just bought a house.
Sounds like it.
And I don't know, it's like a subject we've touched on in the past, and then we just recently talked about it. And he basically said, like, well, let's give it a shot or so. But now we're in this, I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to initiate it. You can.
Do you feel guilty if you watch porn without him?
In the past, in the beginning of a relationship, we agreed, I just threw out all my porn because I didn't need that. I got my man, And then for a long time, I didn't look at porn, but then a few times I did. And he happened to grab onto my phone, over the years. And he was, he's like, I understand. And then it was something that we were both doing or do.
Yeah.
But it's just.
So it taps into an insecurity in him and probably you to a lesser degree. If he's sort of looking at your phone and needing to explore. And I got to tell you, I mean, Jake, everyone deals with a version of this. Everyone does. And so I think, I don't know, the more you guys can sort of share with each other, your most perverted fantasies. And maybe you start out by just talking to each other as opposed to looking at visuals. So you're actually sharing dialogue, and it's oh yeah, I want to be fucking you while we tumble off Niagara Falls or whatever. That was just what came to mind, Jake. Don't judge.
I totally I totally think that to spice it up, you could totally start with things that you guys could do together, and you don't need to go to porn directly. And I think if you're thinking about porn, you need to have a conversation with yourself, and can you disassociate the people performing the porn to what is happening?
Jake, I have a whole, not to get I won't go too detailed because Sim is right here and he's looking at me, but I have a whole professor student thing. I do.
Well, and I think we all have those, and it's sometimes maybe just because we don't want to hurt each other's feelings.
You don't say
or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just basically say that with I'll make a confession if you do.
Yeah. Well, and so I don't know, but maybe if I don't know, maybe you guys have a relaxing evening, a little bit of wine or something, and I don't know, and then just start saying okay, so what was one of your earlier fantasies? And I think that that's a good way to sort of at least enter into a safe conversation about, because you guys have been together for a long time and you're young, and it is really important to not, I mean, ideally we all share this stuff with our partners, and that's how we have sexy, healthy relationships. I feel like my voice is getting into that weird soft place where it sounds sort of like I know what I'm talking about. But I don't.
It sounds good.
Does it?
Yeah.
But Jake, I love it that you called us, because you're talking about something that truly we all deal with. And I know that as a woman, I have gotten threatened by porn because it makes me sometimes feel like, well, what am I not giving to my partner, that he desires?
That they need to go. Like, why can't they? Why do they need to do that without me?
Right. Or like looking at them, and then it gets to the place of like, oh, so if we don't have porn, are you imagining somebody else in your head? Or, like people can spin out in that world. And so I love it that you brought this up, because I think that it is something that everyone experiences.
Because it's not exactly like I can have a conversation like this with at work or anything. It's fairly intense. I talk about it.
Jake, I have to tell you, I have to commend you though. I'm so impressed that you are in this loving relationship, and you guys seem to really respect each other, and it couldn't have been easy in a close-knit community, or for anybody to come out. And I really appreciate you calling us, because I know that we'll have a lot of listeners that will give us feedback and feel really appreciative for you sharing this. And I just don't know if I gave you any helpful advice, except for like to put on a wig and pretend to be
hope
like
for the best,
a plumber or something. I don't know.
I think that you just kind of ignited in me like the fact that it's like I'm not wrong for having feelings like this, or us getting into this discussion. It's something that needs
not at all. I think that we overanalyze fantasy too much, because sometimes it comes from a different part of our brain that feels a little more base, and I do believe that that's okay. I mean, as long as like craziness isn't acted upon. I don't mean to be or whatever, but I do think that somebody has a foot fetish. It's like, all right, that's fucking cool.
What you guys said was perfect, I think.
I hope. Jake, I don't know if...
Jake, are you okay with this advice?
I don't even know if I gave him anything specific.
Hey, I'm okay with the fact that we all have these feelings. We all have... And especially when you touch point on that fantasy part of things, because, as I mentioned, like, all I had was my fantasy before. Like to just explore that realm, around. But... I mean, I found the best man in the world to be with, but there was still all those years of fantasy that never happened.
Jake, I don't know if you've gone onto Amazon lately, but they have some crazy shit. Like, get in there. Get some...
we got we got some toys and stuff like that.
All right, good.
Jake, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
I love you. And
no problem. It was awesome talking to you guys.
Yeah, and please keep us posted. We are going to get a lot of feedback on this, and I so appreciate you opening up. And I love you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well,
Jake.
thank you too. Yep.
Bye, Jake.
Bye, Jake.
All right. Bye-bye.
Great job, guys. That was great.
I just rambled on about...
No, that was great.
But
he
That's
needed
good
to
advice.
hear...
Yeah. It's just, I think it's like having an open conversation always. Like, I think we all like love danger and the idea of things. And when we actually say them out loud, we're actually able to like analyze, what do we really want? Or what do we not?
But it takes so much confidence because,
it takes some guts.
Yeah, because we've been sort of societally sexually shamed so much that it's hard to reconcile fantasies within our own heads and then potentially share them and feel like,
you just feel so guilty for them sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of guilt. It's those fucking Puritans. Fuck you, Puritans. Oh God, I've just offended a bunch of Puritans out there.
We'll take that out, Tyler. You got that.
There's a huge Puritan community that listens to this.
Oh yeah, they do. They love my podcast.
Yeah. We'll get one email.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Thank you, Adam.
So much for having me.
You're amazing. I so appreciate it.
It's so much fun.
Okay, but you don't know what happens next. I put a pillowcase over your head. Just slowly suffocate you.
You know what?
Good night, dear listeners. I love you.
Good night.